international travel, heart-aching romance, and deadly toxins. What more could you want? Join me today as we chat with BJ Magnani about the closing chapter in the Lily Robinson series, We Will Always Have Poison. Welcome to Blackbird Writers Presents Author Interviews. I'm Sharon Lynn, and welcome to you, BJ.
Oh, thank you, Sharon. And I'm thrilled to be here to talk about the books and anything else, toxins we want to talk about.
That's so much fun. Let's just start out with the toxins. Tell us a little bit about your background as a toxicologist and how that inspired writing this series.
Okay. So basically, I consider myself on my fourth career. I actually started out as a high school teacher. Then I trained as a scientist. After working as a scientist, I decided I should go to medical school, went back to school to become a pathologist who specializes in toxicology. And now my fourth career is writing. So I'm a full-time writer. How I got into this series is to me, a very interesting, almost serendipity-like, thing. I was approached in 2008 by the editor-in-chief of the Journal of Clinical Chemistry, which is a worldwide journal, a very scientific journal. And he said, what we need in this journal is something a little fun and educational. So I would like it if you would create a character, maybe like a Mrs. Robinson, he called her, and have her kill bad people with a toxin, so then you can teach us about toxicology. So for over a year, starting in 2009, I wrote under the pen name Lily Robinson, and I wrote about, assassinating someone who was obviously a bad player and using a particular poison, but I wouldn't say what it was. And then when the journal came out, we encouraged people around the world who were reading the journal to write in with what they thought the toxin was and how she did it.
That is so fun.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Then they would pick, one of the correct answers out of a hat, and that person would win a gift certificate to the bookstore. This is for the American Association of Clinical Chemistry. And then in the next issue, as Lily Robinson, I would write how I did it and give a tutorial on the toxin.
Well, that was very forward thinking of that editor-in-chief. I mean, that's because that is just so much fun, and it's not what you would think for a scientific journal. I do want to just say one thing. Your email is set up as Lily Robinson, and since I've read the books, I feel like, when you email me it's like a movie star is emailing me. I'm like, ooh, Lily Robinson.
That's funny.
So that's just very fun. So Lily is a doctor, a professor, and an assassin. So we kind of see where all of that comes from. Uh, and it's the assassin part that I keep focusing back on because that's just, well, I've had conversations with you. You're a lovely person. I don't think you would be an assassin. So yeah, I just wanted to, we kind of have how you got started on that. How do you research that and the world, kind of that shadow world that she lives in? What kind of research did you do for that?
Well, some of it obviously is from my own experience, just in general. Lily and I share many things in terms of our job, profession, even our stiletto shoes. And again, the directive was at the time you had to use a poison of some kind to kill someone. That was what the editor wanted. So she had to become an assassin. So there were certain things, yes, that I had to sort of research out. And, I was able to, look things up or talk to certain people who shall be nameless.
Yeah,
And, but, again, I think using a poison, as you know, even if you read the Agatha Christie novels, I mean, it's a question of how do you administer a poison? So many ways. It could be in food, in drink, dermally, inhale. So there's a lot of options, and that is something, again, that I am trained to be aware of
Mhm.
in terms of seeing real people.
Yeah.
So,
Which is a little bit scary, but
yeah.
also,
I know the medical, and I work for the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. They used to always say, don't invite BJ Magnani over for dinner or let her come over to your house for dinner, you know? Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you're such a lovely person because yeah, that is some scary stuff, you know. Um, one of the things that Lily has in her like private cabin area is a poisonous plant garden, and I'm wondering if you know anybody with one of those, if you have one yourself. You do. That's excellent.
Yeah, so that's where I got it from. What my some of my pathology colleagues used to say I was into extreme gardening. That's what they called it. But I had a 12 by 12 chain link fence, surrounding this garden. And I planted in it everything that could possibly grow in New England, of course. Some of the things you might have to bring in the winter. But you'd be surprised. A lot of the plants that you have in probably your own garden are poisonous. We all know about foxglove and wolfsbane and many other things that are toxic. So I cultivated this garden. It was a beautiful garden, but I did keep it sort of, pets out of it and kids out of it kind of thing.
I was actually in England last week
Oh,
and touring a castle where I'm going to have a wedding, and somebody's going to put some poison in the reception food. And so I asked if the castle had a kitchen garden because a lot of them do, and she's like, no. And she thought for a second, and she said, "We do have a poison garden." And I was like, just so thrilled at the idea.
yeah, there are a couple of poison gardens over in England that are very well known that you can tour. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're fascinating. I love natural toxins. That's my favorite. Yeah.
I just love that you say that. Okay, so when you're extending to the fourth book, which is We'll Always Have Poison, is the fourth in this series, how do you, if somebody just wants to jump right into that fourth book, how do you kind of catch them up on the things that have happened previously?
I think that's a hard thing to do for me, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people, and I didn't learn this till after, a lot of people who write a series write each book as if they could be an independent book, a standalone. But obviously there's some recurring themes.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. I made it almost like one continuous story with a couple of different missions, and I liken it to the Tolkien trilogy. You wouldn't start with Return of the King before you read The Fellowship of the Ring. I mean, so in a sense, I feel like you kind of have to read all the books in order because I do cliffhangers at the end of each book, which might not be might tee off some people, but others might but it's sort of like a series in the sense that you would watch a streaming series at the end of season one. This is what happens, and then you wait to go to season two. So I do try and put a little bit in there, but you're right, Sharon, that you can't, if you've only read the last book, you don't know all the things that led up to
Yeah.
why Lily is in the place that she's in now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I mean, they're not cliffhangers, and you didn't wrap up the mission and the plot. So the
That's wrapped up.
story, yeah, the story
Yeah.
is closed. You just add something that's like, oh, I know where this next book's going to go, and I have to read it right now. So I think it's really, really beautifully done. So.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
Yeah, and you should read it. They're just so fascinating. Lily is so fascinating. As I said, the international travel, these books, all of them just roam all over the world. We're in South America, we're in South Africa, we're in Boston, different places in New England, New York. Are you an avid traveler?
So most of the places I write about are places I've been. And that's what I like to do that. So, I spend time in South Korea, in Australia. My family lived in Brussels and New York. I haven't been to every place, but I have friends then who've lived in those places. And so when I get to a place I haven't, again, spent a lot of time in, I might ask that person, please read over this section in the book and see if it rings true to your living in, that country or whatever. Um, but I try and get to all the places that I can. And I do enjoy that. And I think that's what makes for me the book fun. And I tell you this one funny thing, this when we had the pandemic, and we couldn't travel a lot. I had one reviewer who wrote, gosh, we can't travel a lot during the pandemic, but if you read this book, you feel like you're traveling all over the world, which I thought was, oh, great. They got something out of that.
Yeah, no, it really is, and the details, like you said, does this ring true? They really do. It's like, yeah, we're on the beach and things are going okay. And what was that thing that I just felt, brush past my leg? It's just like really transports you to the various different places. So yeah, they are fun. I personally think she handles travel very, very well. I would be a lot more exhausted than she is.
Yes.
And you mentioned the stilettos that you also wear. So, um, why stilettos?
I just love high heels. And so I used to be the doctor in the hospital, maybe not the only one who wore high heels. And so I wanted to give my protagonist those shoes too. And also during when I wrote the stories, there's a lot more designer clothes in the stories, and I felt like, oh, here's an opportunity to buy nice clothes and fancy shoes and name all the designers and have her run around in it. And that's, by the way, how some people guessed that I was the anonymous author of the series because they said, which pathologist do we know who wears stilettos to work? Kind of a giveaway.
Yeah, I think it would be. And I love the covers with just the silhouette of the slacks with the stilettos. It's like shadowy and intriguing and pretty.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
so part of the intrigue in the first let's move to Will Always Have Poison. Part of the intrigue in the first few chapters of that is a dead whale, and just heartbreaking. Um, and so I was wondering what kind of research you did to get all those details right.
Well, one of my graduate degrees is in marine science. And so
I just stop you right there. One of my
what,
graduate degrees, because you have can,
I
sidebar.
have
Let's
a
just
few.
yeah, tell us what they are.
What, my degrees?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a master's degree in marine science. I have a PhD, which is in more like related to biochemistry. And then I have a medical degree. Um, and I specialized in pathology, so I did a residency, board certified pathologist. Yeah. But I wanted to do this last book because I said, you're always writing about all these toxins and whatever. Why don't you take advantage of some of the marine science work that you did, where I did study poison chemical effects on small algal systems.
Okay.
So, like algae that are in phytoplankton, those kinds of things that are in the oceans. And so I worked with a cetacean biologist. So cetaceans are your whales and your dolphins. And so that's where the inspiration for the whale came from because I wanted to use some of the background I had there to, I don't know, just heighten the awareness of the whales, the climate, what's going on in the oceans. I thought that might make an interesting book. So that's why I did it.
Yeah, well, I really appreciated just it's climate scientists who are being murdered in this book, and just kind of it's like you're always going to have people who are on other sides of the fence, including people who just want to make money, and it was it really does kind of like raise that awareness without like beating you over the head with it. So it was
Right.
delicately done and quite effective, I'm going to say.
Thank you. I was going
Um,
to say one of my inspirations is Michael Crichton because I loved reading his books. And I always felt I learned something from his books, no matter that he researched things out. And part of me, the teacher part of me, wants to teach a little bit in the book. So, when you read about the climate stuff, that's all real. When you read in any of my books about the missile science or the rare earth elements or whatever it is that I'm talking about, that's all scientific facts. I mean, I make up the plot, but basically I try and use all my science. So you get away when you go, I didn't really know that about the whale, let's say, or that they had multiple stomachs or whatever the story was. Yeah.
yeah, well, and it's fun because I love books when I can read something and go, I didn't know that. And I'll actually open up, the internet and do some searches on it and just extend that learning. And I love doing that. But she's never preachy about anything. It's always just this is how she thinks. And if there's a moment where she can explain something to somebody, it's because they asked. So it just really comes across as natural to her and to the story. So again, expertly done.
Thank you. I was going to say it's funny that you say that she's not preachy because I sort of try and use the humor through all the four books where she does go into these little lectures and some of the secondary characters like Parker
Yeah.
roll their eyes or say, "What are you talking about? Is this another lecture?" Meanwhile, that's just who she
Yeah,
is.
she's just chatting
And
along.
they're like, "Oh my God, she's doing it again." Oh. So I hope that, you as the reader are sort of laughing a little bit with Parker, but on the other hand, you're getting all the information.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
And
Yeah.
Parker is awesome. I love him. Um, so again, the science and the marine aspect of things use a cookie cutter shark for a big plot point, and I'm just going to be honest, I've only heard of a cookie cutter shark on Weird Sharks of Shark Week, because I love Shark Week. So why tell us a little bit about the photophores and why you chose that shark.
Well, I think, but by the way, is it on Shark Week? Have they featured the cookie cutter shark?
Yeah, there was one show about weird sharks, and that was one of them.
Oh,
Yeah, it
okay,
wasn't. It
okay,
wasn't. It was last year because I watch it every year.
okay. Well, as I touched on before, I like natural toxins. I like anything that animals do in defense.
Mhm.
So frogs that make their own poisons or plants that generate poisons. Not that the cookie cutter shark is toxic, but the idea that it uses these amazing things like bioluminescence in order to protect itself. So that if you imagine the shark swimming to the surface and something coming below, and now this glow below them on their ventral surface, their belly surface, blends them in with the sky. It's genius. I mean, nature is genius. You can't, I can't say enough. It's genius. So if we can learn from these things, learn what makes shark skin tough, if we can bioengineer things like photophores so we can blend in or do whatever it is. Now, obviously, in the plot of the book, they're doing it for nefarious reasons because they want to make undetectable aircraft,
Yeah,
almost invisible, aircraft. And that can be used for, war or something like that.
yeah.
But that's why I just find the natural animals just amazing, So if we can adapt those things to make either, I don't know, something that can help you, but clearly things that can harm you.
Mhm.
And you look at the different kind of toxins out there that plants make. Some of them we're able to make into medicines. Also, we can use them as ways to kill people.
That's deadly
You know?
topic.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I walked past a singing nettle and I just barely, like, I didn't even know what it was. And just barely touched my hand and I was like, what the heck was that? And it was just such this huge eye-opening. That was a plant protecting itself. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, you're too close, go away. Um, yeah, they really do stink. All right. So, is this truly the last book in this series?
I
Or
would say probably not, but I felt like I wanted to wrap up certain plot points. And I didn't want, and as you pointed out before, in each book, the mission is essentially wrapped up,
yeah.
although there is a little spillover from book one to book two. But the continuing personal story of Lily Robinson, the trauma from her daughter
Mhm.
being lost in the jungle and that whole thing, I really felt I wanted to wrap that up. Um, and I tried also to harken back to the stories.
Great scene of the wrapping that plot point up.
Oh,
I
okay. I
don't want to
wasn't
give
sure you were
anything
saying.
away except that I cried a little. So,
Oh, yeah. No, I cried a lot actually. Both because, as you know, as a writer, when you write an emotional scene and it affects you, and also if you are thinking that it might be the last in the series, the way this was. I mean, these are people I've known, right? Your
yeah,
characters, just like all your characters, you've known these people for quite a number of years. And so you're sad to see some of them go.
yeah,
But I felt I had to do that to give maybe Lily a different direction. And there are also scenes, I don't want to give the things away about her other family, but yeah, that were very emotional, I thought. So, but now if I do come back to the series, I could do a different standalone that doesn't have to carry all that, the other family issues,
mhm.
mother-daughter issues, lover issues, all that stuff. I could do something independent with her.
Yeah.
But instead, I chose writing another book completely different with different characters for the fun of it.
That's very fun. Yeah, sometimes your brain is like, now I need to go this way.
Yeah.
So actually, can you tell us anything about that new
Yeah.
new book, or is it a series in your mind, or is it a standalone?
So I have, um, let's see, I have one book that's all done that I'm shopping around now. Completely different. You know, you're in the world like me of mysteries and suspense and thrillers, that kind of thing. This is women's fiction with steamy romantic elements. I wanted to try something very, very different. I found that it was much harder to do than the things I'm used to. So I don't know how you feel about that, but you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it
it
that's why I
was,
stick
it
with
was,
cozies because it's easier.
there you go. So I have that one, which hopefully will come out next spring. Then I started another suspense thriller book. And this one, I know nothing about the science. So I am learning all about the science of meteorites, the chemistry of planets, the chemistry and the genealogy behind wheats and the different kind of wheat strains in the world. I know it sounds crazy, but it's about a botanist who goes to St. Petersburg in Russia to visit the oldest seed bank in the world, which is true. And she makes this startling discovery there. So now I have her on a journey again all over the world. Let's see, we've been to Iceland, we're in Norway, Svalbard. Where else are we going to go? I don't know. I like going places.
That's awesome. And like I said, it's just a fun little travel log for your readers as well. So
Yeah,
definitely keep that
you
up.
know. So that's sort of what I'm working on now. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, well, that sounds great. Okay, so finally, where can our fans find you? Your social medias and things of that nature.
Okay, so the best place to start is my webpage, which is just bjmagnani.com. And hopefully there you can find out where I am in person for events or at a conference. And also, I write a poison blog. I should have another one come. I got to write one soon. But you learn a lot about different poisons, natural toxins. Some of them are like public service announcements, like about carbon monoxide poisoning or something. But that's fun. So visit the website. And I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, I think Blue Sky, and LinkedIn. I've gotten off certain other ones
Yeah.
that I didn't want to go on anymore.
A
The other thing I just
lot
want
of
to
open
mention,
tab.
okay, the other thing I just want to mention is that since I am a pathologist, I support the College of American Pathologists Foundation, and I donate a large portion of the proceeds of my book sales to a program called See, Test, and Treat, where women can receive free cervical and breast cancer screening. And so for people who don't have insurance or don't have enough insurance, it's a pathologist-led event where, again, you can show up and we will do all the tests right there for nothing for you and hopefully get you engaged in healthcare. I ran the program for 5 years at Tufts Medical Center in Boston. And yeah, I think it's a very good cause. I want to make sure everybody has equal opportunity to get the best health care they can.
That is wonderful. That's amazing. So
Thank you.
thank you for that information as well. And actually, uh, yeah, we can put that in the comments in the on the YouTube channel, so um, so people can find that easily. All right. Well, thank you, BJ, for being here today and chatting with me about these really wonderful, exciting, thrilling, suspenseful, emotional books. And thank you all for watching Blackbird Writers Presents Author Interviews.
Thank you so much, Sharon.